What is up, everybody? Mana here with your daily StarCraft 2 content. I have a very special guest here today, Mr. Clem from Team Liquid. He's practicing here in the Alimer training facility for IEM Katowice 2023. How are you, Clem?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing splendid.
Splendid. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for taking your time to be here. I just wanted to talk to you about the beginnings of StarCraft, how you got into
Mm-hmm.
StarCraft, because you're a relatively young player, right? You're 20 years old,
Yeah.
and you're one of the new generation of players at the very highest level of play. So how you got into StarCraft and what made you choose StarCraft? I'm wondering.
Well, my dad was a long time RTS fan. He played Warcraft 3, StarCraft 1, and a bit after SC2 came out, he was like looking videos on YouTube of it, and then he played a bit, and I was like, oh, what is that game? It looks interesting. So I tried it myself as well, and I really enjoyed playing it. So then
Did you play versus your dad?
uh, at first, yeah, for a bit. Then I played some ladder.
How long did it take for you to be better than your dad?
Uh, Probably a couple months,
Couple of
but
months. That's very
I
quick.
I was bronze when I first started playing. Then I went silver. Then like a few seasons later, I was master.
Did you find it difficult to improve from that level? Let's say from the bronze to masters, and then from masters to the level that you are currently
I,
at.
I actually remember being stuck in diamond at some point.
Stuck in diamond.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
I was doing like two base root pressures. Root pressure. I was like, oh, why can't I get higher? I was actually hard stuck.
So what made you go from the hard stack to the higher level? What happened? Did you change
I
anything?
don't know. I just kept playing, I guess, and then yeah, if you keep playing, then at some point, you
I remember because
start getting better.
we used to play a lot back in the day when you still weren't like the super top level of player, and
Mm-hmm.
we used to play a lot of in like online tournaments. And a
Yeah,
lot of people said you're the up and comer Terran player
yeah.
that feels like it's going to be the top level player. And I
Mm.
didn't really have like much trouble playing against you. But then there was a point where you started winning more and more and more, and now like I cannot even take a game of you in tournaments. So I'm wondering, how did you go to the next level? You said you kept playing, but did you change anything in the practice or like the mentality maybe?
Um, Honestly, a big step for me was going full time, and it was pretty much like right after high school. Then I went full time, and I could play like much more and focus on SC2 much more because I was still playing a lot of SC2 when I was in school, but it's hard to actually focus on your matches on SC2 because I would play tournaments, but I would play tournaments after I come back home from like a long school day, then it's way worse, of course, because I'm really tired and stuff like that. So that's how it is, right?
Yeah, I know how you
You
feel
know what you
because
mean?
I used to be in high school and like playing at the highest level back in the day for me. I
Yeah,
was able to like combine high school and pro gaming at the same time, but I
yeah,
couldn't really make it for a long time for sure.
yeah. It's way harder for sure. And then when I went full time, then it was way easier, I think.
How
Yeah.
many games have you played? Because right now you're not very well known for playing a lot of games at the same time. You say, how many games do you practice a day? Like, okay, I don't want to like fully give your secret in here, but like roughly, do you play a lot of the games right now? And how many games did you play before to reach that kind of level?
Well, right now I'm probably playing, uh, I'd say like from 5 to 15 games a day, something like that.
That's not a lot for a pro gamer, no?
Uh, probably some people play way more, but um,
But it seems to work for you, so like there's nothing bad about it, I suppose.
back in the day I used to play so much. I actually used to play like so much. I probably was one of the players that would play the most, like in the entire ladder, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, I remember meeting you on the ladder very,
Yeah,
very
I was
often.
I was like always playing. Nowadays I play a little bit less.
So would you say like with the amount of practice that you had in the past, right now you're not playing as much, but the practice that you are doing is very efficient, right? Like you
Yeah.
already understand how the game works, and even though you play a smaller amount of games, you understand how to practice the games to your
Mm,
benefit.
yeah, but also I feel like at some point, once you're at a certain level, it's like easier to keep your level, and
Hmm.
it's also harder to improve, but easier to keep your level. But then at some point it kind of feels like um between playing like 15 games or like 25 games is not going to change that much.
Okay.
It,
Yeah.
it it does feel like that
Yeah, I guess
sometimes.
it's different for different kind of people. For example, for me, I feel like I'm getting tired very much after, let's say, the 15th game, the 20th game.
Yeah.
But the day after that kind of practice, I get a lot of information about the practice that I got, and I feel like I have
Mm.
improved after that. Does it feel the same for you, or do you feel like your level of practice is like improving yourself like slowly at a time, or do you feel like a big difference day by day, or maybe month by month?
It depends if I take like a break and then practice a lot,
Hmm.
but I'd say like I'm practicing for IEM right now, right?
Yes.
And I've been playing a lot more recently. Let's say the past month or so, and I actually feel way better now in my play than I felt like 2 months ago.
Okay, that's
So
fine. Yeah,
yeah, I actually feel it.
we'll go to IEM as well. I wanted to ask you about like becoming the actual top level player at the like not too long ago, but it feels like there's like a lot of pressure on players.
Mm.
Like people want to win versus you, and there's people who definitely will be like looking to beat you to improve themselves or like to show themselves in the business. Do you feel like you're being like targeted by some people, or they play versus you better because they want to beat you more, or how do you feel about that?
Uh, I don't think so. I At some point it felt like when I was winning like all the DreamHack Europes and I was winning a lot. Uh, then it felt like sometimes people would give up more easily. You know,
Yeah.
it's like yeah, they start losing and then they kind of give up because they're like, oh, I'm dead. But yeah, now that I'm actually losing some more games here and there, then people they actually try a lot more.
Yeah, they see that
Yeah.
you can kind of lead from
Yeah,
time to
right.
time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are the 5 times ESL Masters or DreamHack Masters European champion, but the online portion. You did
Yeah.
very, very well in the online portion, and you finished up in the ranking in number 1 for the IEM
Mm,
Katowice 2023. You did
mm,
so well online, but you don't have this kind of success offline. Do you feel
mm-hmm.
more pressure playing offline? What do you think is the reason why you're not performing as well offline? Is it the competition? The Koreans are in there, the North Americans are in there. Is it the combined region that is more difficult for you?
It's probably a lot of different stuff. I it's honestly sometimes kind of hard like for me to say exactly where
Mm-hmm.
it goes wrong, but you know sometimes it feels like I do better on tournaments that last longer
Mm-hmm.
and where there's like a second chance, you know? Well,
Okay.
because
So like
for
the group
example,
stage for the European stage, for
exactly,
example.
I feel like the format of the DreamHack Europe is really good for me because there's a big group stage. You can play like a lot of matches,
Mm-hmm.
even if you do bad one day. Like there's always a day where I lose. I do like really bad in the groups, but then I always end up
That's right.
being fine
There were
anyway
some
because
matches, right, where you
yeah,
lost like
yeah,
to
right.
Kung Fu Panda, for
Kung Fu
example.
Banana, then I lost to Shadow the season before, then the
Yeah.
season before I lost to Gerald, I think.
Yes.
So there's always like one day where I do really bad. Uh, but yeah, I feel like having a longer tournament format fits me better, and also having a second chance in the playoffs also
Mm-hmm.
fits me better. Because if you look at the past DreamHacks, if there was no lower bracket, I would have went out like top eight,
Mm-hmm.
top four, top eight, stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like having a lower bracket is also good for me
Yeah, but
because
even in the like the offline portions of the DreamHacks, the format is that there's the like the group stages, right? And then you can kind of go down to the
mm,
knockout bracket. But you are so
mm,
good that you usually go out to the bracket where
yeah.
there's no loser bracket anymore for you, right? You basically get to the top 16 immediately. For example, in Atlanta, you I think you lost to Bunny 3-0 in a
Yeah.
TVT. And I wanted to ask you about the differences because I feel like you are doing so well in the European region, but it does feel like versus the Koreans sometimes. I'm not sure if this is the lack of knowledge of the playstyle between both of you, or like why do you think is that the Koreans tend to get the better of you from time to time? I think especially in a TVT. I feel like in TVZ and TVP you can win versus the best of the best, but in turn versus turn in particular, I do believe you're kind of struggling. I'm not sure if I'm right about that.
Mm-hmm. Last offline DreamHack against Bunny in
Hmm.
Atlanta. I thought that day I just wasn't playing well at all. I think that day I just wasn't. I don't know. I don't know if it's my focus or if that day was just not a good day for me.
Yeah.
And then Bunny is really good, right? So if I don't
Yes.
have a good day and he has a good day because he went all the way into the finals, he almost won. Then I just lose because I don't have a good day. He
That's
has a
right.
good day, then I just play worse. Then he plays and I just lose. Um, and Bunny, in my mind, is maybe like similar to Gabe or maybe a tiny bit better.
Yeah.
Actually, well, yeah, it's hard to say sometimes, but in my mind, he's like Gabe, maybe a little bit better. Um,
Then Bunny?
no, I mean Bunny, a little bit better than Gabe.
Okay.
And this kind of players, if I don't play my best, then I just lose, right?
I see.
Because they're really good and it's really hard.
Yeah, this is cool to see that you compare the European players to the Korean players, and I feel like we don't have that many chances to play on like an even footing versus the Korean players because most of
Yes.
the time when we play them, we play like on the North American server, and people don't realize how
Yeah.
difficult it is.
Oh
How
yeah.
the skill level like is completely different when you play on the NA server. So can you talk about like the experience that you have playing on the North American server compared to the offline part, so people kind of understand the
Mm,
difficulty it is?
I think if you play on NA, let's say NA against Koreans, TVP and TVT, it feels a bit like it's like the ping matters as much. 'Cause TVT obviously is a mirror matchup, and
Mm-hmm.
TVP, I feel like TVP, if both had or like have around the same ping, then it matters as much for both players.
Mm-hmm.
Um, TVZ though, I definitely feel like it's really hard for Terran if you have ping
It's very
from one
micro
side.
intensive matchup.
Yeah, and it's also like some like tiny micro moves that can turn on an entire fight, sometimes. Or like let's say you pick up last second, and on
Mm-hmm.
NA the bending just explode in your Marines, right?
Yeah.
But on EU actually managed to pick up, and it makes such a big difference.
And you are especially known to be this kind of like a micro-intensive, control-intensive player. You're not the one like
Mm,
Maru. Like I mean, Maru can play very good control-wise, but he can also like sit back, relax,
yeah,
and I think that's why the ping is kind
yeah,
of
he's more like
destructive.
defensive.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, I feel like especially for my playstyle, I guess, and it's pretty bad to have ping.
And also one thing that you said I want to touch is the condition of the day. You said you weren't feeling well versus Bunny, for example, and a lot of people feel like the pro gamers, we're like machines and we play every
Mm,
day. It's the same, but
mm,
you can definitely answer this that each day is different, and sometimes you feel, oh, I'm feeling like I'm hitting all my timings. It
yeah.
feels right. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm feeling refreshed and so on. And some days you just feel completely different, and the level of your play can go down significantly. But
Oh
people
yeah.
don't understand
Yeah.
how exactly this works.
Yeah. Well, we're humans, right? And sometimes it does feel like Sarah Moru. They always play
Yeah.
as like amazing every day, But for most players, it's not the case. There's some days we feel not in shape. Like we just feel like we're not playing our best, right?
Yeah, we
I feel
kind
like
of lose the focus, right?
yeah, that's normal, right? Some days we're just not as focused and as yeah.
All right, awesome. So let's touch on the IEM Katowice 2023, the biggest tournament of the year, the World
Mm-hmm.
Championship. We don't have BlizzCon anymore. We have the IEM Katowice. You won, like we mentioned before, the 5 DreamHack Masters online portions. This is the offline tournament. This is going to be slightly different. The biggest players in the world are going to be there. Do you feel like you have a chance of going far, maybe winning it all? How do you feel about your practice so far? I know we still have like a couple of weeks before you travel there and play there, but would you rate your chances right now in the
Mm.
current form? Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I'm feeling pretty good. 'Cause I feel like I've been playing pretty well lately. Like I feel good mechanically. So I feel like if I can play my best level, like I play, for example, when I play like DreamHack EU finals stuff like that. If I can play like this, then I definitely have a good chance of making it really far. But it's really gonna depend on how I feel and how in shape I feel the specific day. I think.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, also sometimes it feels easier to play the later matches compared to the first
All
matches.
right.
That also matters. Because yeah, if I just play the first matches of a tournament, then I feel a little bit worse and maybe a little bit more stressed.
So you would like to be more later into the stage of the tournament. Sorry, you want to play the
yeah.
matches later first. So you kind of get used to the setup of the tournament.
That's not really what I meant was more like I play better after playing a few tournament
Of course. So you
games.
kind of get warmed up before
Yeah,
the tournament,
yeah.
as the tournament
Yeah,
goes on.
exactly. Because I feel like sometimes, even if you play a lot of games on the setup, when you actually play the tournament itself, it feels kind of different and there's the pressure
Hmm.
as well. So, yeah, I feel like it's easier to play the games when they're later in the tournaments. Also, it's less pressure, I think,
Yes,
because,
you kind of already knew what happened, right,
yeah,
for
and you
you.
don't have the pressure of getting knocked out early.
Yes, yeah.
That's also a big thing,
I
right?
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I am playing the tournaments, the
Mm,
first games of the tournament are absolutely crushing, and there's like a lot of stress because
yeah.
let's say you traveled all across the France to attend this tournament,
Yeah.
and you want to do well, you know your practice,
Mm,
and if you get knocked out or you play bad matches, there's like a lot of pressure on yourself, not necessarily like
yeah.
from the outside, but you know you can do better than this. And once you get past that stage, it does feel like you kind of like achieved something, and now you can just take it a little bit more easy. But
Mm,
you are the championship contender for sure. Like there's the Cyril, there's the Marus, Raynors, and you are in one of those names. People are really having like high expectations for you. Does it not
mm.
bother you that much? Do you feel about the pressure of the community that they feel like you're one of the best runs in the world?
Um, I used to feel it a bit where people would have like super high expectation all the time, but I feel like nowadays I don't feel it as much. I
That's
feel like
good.
I play more for myself, and I try to just focus on my play. And if I do
That's
wrong, it's
right.
like yeah, I mean
That's right. Yeah, that's better when
yeah,
you
like
try not to fall into the pressure of people. I
yeah,
think that's the worst thing that can
yeah,
happen.
yeah, exactly. Because then it also feels bad, if you lose early and then you see like like on the social media or whatever, there's people being like, "Oh, Clem is so washed up."
So yeah, don't say Clem is washed up. He's a great kid. I want to say one more thing is that the preparation for IEM Katowice. Do you change anything? Because this is the World Championship. You know, this is not your regular ESL Open or whatever. Do you approach the tournament more seriously? Do you change anything in your practice? Do you practice? Well, you obviously you will play more, but do you practice more focused on a certain matchups? Do you recognize your weaknesses? How do you approach to get better before the World Championship?
I'm not sure if I change the practice itself, but I definitely play a lot more games than I do, or like in a normal day.
More than one game.
Little bit less League of Legends games,
Little
a
bit
little
less.
more SC2.
You're pretty good at League of Legends anyway. Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, Clem. So I wish you the best of luck at IEM Katowice 2023. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do you have any last words to your fans to maybe encourage you for IEM Katowice or for the future where they can find you? Just a couple of last words to the fans.
Yeah, well, I'm streaming sometimes, not that regularly.
You
But I'm
should
streaming
stream
sometimes.
more. People love your stream.
I'm streaming sometimes on my channel is Liquid Clem. If you want to check it out, and yeah, make sure to watch IEM Katowice. It's gonna be a great event. Yeah, I hope I'm gonna do good.
Yes, yeah, we're cheering for you, Clem. Once again, thank you so much for showing up. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. This was Liquid Clem, and he is going to be playing IEM Katowice 2023. Cheer for him there, and cheer for Team Liquid. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much. Is it too much? Maybe it's too much, no?
No, I think for you it's okay. Like I like it for you. For me, it's terrible. Like there's no fixing it.
He looks dark. He looks so dark.
Absolutely awful.